the Steelers here now. It was a rough one early on in that first period, first quarter, excuse me, switching gears from hockey to football.
Almost the first half. Right?
Almost the first
half.
They're
down 14-0 with about 3 minutes to go.
And if it wasn't for Minkah Fitzpatrick, that guy's a playmaker. Just the, 3 interceptions in the limited time he's been here. I think right now it looks like a good trade, even if they have to give up a top 15 pick. For me, I think he's going to be the guy that they need, that playmaker they need in the back end of that defense.
Well, hopefully that high. I mean, if they can win some games here, but they're going to have to play a lot better than they did last night for me. They're certainly going to have to get off to a better start. I'll give Rudolph a lot of credit. He started 2 of 8 for 23 yards, 0.0 passer rating, and his wide receivers didn't have a catch. And then on that, 3rd and 12, he threw like the 15-yard pass on the sideline to Johnson. It was the first catch by a receiver, and then they just took off from there. And I give him credit for bouncing back, but that slow start will kill him against a lot of better teams.
Yeah, and think about it. Minkah Fitzpatrick kind of, changed the momentum a little bit, but Rudolph had to complete a 3rd and 20. And I blame Miami's defense for completely selling out more than the guy was wide open. Johnson was wide open for that touchdown, and that deflated the Dolphins right there.
Yeah, even though, that made it 14-10 going in at halftime, which, with 3 minutes to go was 14-0. And then they come out and just took control of the game. I thought the defense played real well. They have sacks, 4 sacks again last night, and, the 3 turnovers, I believe. The defense is just getting better and better and better. And that was last night without Tuitt for the first time. We'll see if that catches up to him at some point.
One criticism I think a lot of people had on social media is, what is James Conner doing in there late? He has an AC joint or something. He was seen leaving with a sling last night. I don't really have a problem with it, Ron, because who did they have out there? Trey Edmonds was the only other healthy running back.
Benny Snell was hurt, too. He had left with a knee injury. I think if Snell would have been healthy, he would have finished the game. But Tomlin was asked about it today. Edmonds didn't have a carry all season. He did get one right at the very end after Conner left, but you're still trying to close out the game. It's only a 2-possession game. I had no problem with him.
Yeah, neither did I.
Guys get hurt. It's unfortunate. The way Conner runs, certainly, he takes a beating, and, that's been the only concern about him. Really, going back to his Pitt days, he's had a whole lot of injuries, but his style almost brings that on because he doesn't look to avoid contact. He runs people over.
Yeah, and it seems
that's what makes him so good and exciting.
It seems like we're talking a lot about injuries lately, and I had a chance to talk to T.J. Watt, and he said that's what happens when you have 250-pound guys running into 300-pound guys at full speed. So you're going to have a lot of injuries around the NFL.
It's a brutal game.
All right, out to the phone lines, and we're going to go out to Pete out in Squirrel Hill. What's up, Pete? How you doing?
Guys, how are you tonight?
Good. Thanks for calling, Pete.
All right, Ron, I got a question for you. Ovechkin scored twice tonight. He is 669. He's 225 short of Gretzky. Do you think he will ever get there? That's still an awful lot of goals, 225. But what is he, 32 or 33 years old?
Might be a little older than that. I don't think he's going to get there, but what do I know? He's the greatest goal scorer of our generation. Not the greatest player, but the greatest goal scorer. And, man, he's fun to watch. And I love when he sets up on that power play and on the left circle, and they know where he's going to shoot it from, Rich, and they still can't stop it. He's the greatest goal scorer of our generation for me. I know there's got Mike Bossy was really good. There's a lot of good ones. He's the best for me.
You're talking about Ovechkin?
Ovechkin,
not Gretzky.
Not best player, best goal scorer.
Okay, that's a good debate to have. The one thing that I would say to Pete, I don't think he can do it because what would that be, like 40-plus goals for the next 5 seasons?
He routinely seems to get 40, but I don't know how long
he'd have to play till he's 37 and average 40 goals a year just to get into the conversation.
I don't know how old he is. I'd have to look that up, but I think he's been around
I think he's 32, 31, okay. 32. I think he's a year older than Crosby, or about the same age.
He and Malkin came in the same year, right? It was so funny. Ovechkin, the Penguins were hoping to get the #1 pick. They ended up with #2. Malkin was pretty good consolation prize.
No question about that. Let's go out to Rich out in Altoona. What's up, Rich? Rich out in Altoona. What's going on, Rich?
I'm here.
Hey,
good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep, thanks for calling.
Thank you for taking my call. Great job by the Pens tonight. Always nice when they beat down on the orange and black.
Yeah.
You know, Rich, I've watched this show for a long time, and over the last year, maybe even more, a lot of people that call in wanted Neil Huntington's head. They wanted Clint Hurdle's head. Frank Coonelly's head got thrown in. So now what?
What
happens now? Oh, yeah, they got it, but what happens now? I don't think it matters who becomes the new manager or the general manager. The narrative isn't going to change. I don't care who gets in there for either position. Do you gentlemen agree that
you know, Rich, it's funny that
nothing changes the narrative, nothing's going to change?
It's funny you bring this up because I ran 2 parts of interviews that we did. Everyone had one-on-ones with these guys yesterday. And the one part of Bob Nutting's interview that we had was him saying that the Pirates, you know, they're not set up to it's Major League Baseball isn't favorable for the Pirates. Well, why doesn't Nutting vote for the salary cap? Why doesn't he help or push to make it favorable?
Because he's making a lot of money.
Exactly, but he didn't say that, but that's what he wants.
It's not like the NHL a number of years ago when they shut down. Only a handful of teams were making money back then. Everybody was losing, so it made sense to shut the game down. Baseball owners are making a lot of money. And, I mean, there's no question. I think they made the right moves by getting rid of the guys that, you know, did the impossible for me by leading this team to 3 playoff appearances from 13 to 15, but it was time. Now, you got to do better with the resources that you do spend. I mean, look what Tampa's doing. Look what Oakland has done. And Neil Huntington didn't do enough these last few years with what he was given. Is he given a lot? No. Should he be given more? I think so. But it's not impossible to win if you draft players well and then develop them well. And that's where the Pirates have failed miserably these last number of years.
And, you know, to follow up with what Nutting said, Travis Williams said that payroll really doesn't matter. And I disagree with that. I totally disagree with that.
You get what you pay for usually
right.
in America. But again, Tampa had a lower payroll than they had.
I mean, that happens once every.
But Tampa's made some runs before.
Oakland does it. Minnesota does it. Cleveland does it.
Yeah, I mean, they fall back a little bit, but then they make another run, and they fall back, and you can't do it consistently as a small market team, but you should be able to do it more than 3 years in 3 times in what, 28 years, 29 years.
Yeah, and you know, looking back, I thought that they were going to give Huntington 1 year just because A, we know Nutting's cheap, but B, I just thought that Travis Williams is a hockey guy, that he just wanted to feel his way out. But I kind of understand it now, because how can you really move on with kind of a lame duck general manager who's going to want to work for you?
You want to have him hiring the manager too. And yeah, I know Travis Williams isn't a baseball guy, but he knows a lot of people in sports, and a lot of people who probably have very good opinions can help him out. He's got to be the business guy. The general manager he hires has to be the baseball guy.
Yeah.
I think sometimes Coonelly tried to get a little too involved in the baseball aspect of it. I think Williams is going to concentrate on business, promotions, advertising, TV, radio, making more money for Bob Nutting. But they right GM and then let him do his thing.
All right, we got to take a break on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Got a couple lines open, so give us a call, 412-575-2600. Back in a couple minutes.